Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Ned's Porter down here, Dudley Square. Some call it Nubian Square, where Michelle Wu is gonna make a speech, probably in about 10-15 minutes. Just want to show you what's going on here. Supposed to be pretty good turnout. If I can squeeze through the sidewalk. Just want to show you guys what's going on. Hold up your sign.
Charlie 2, chance for 10.
All right, there you go. I'm gonna walk on the other side where the media is at. Black by popular demand. All right,
Supervisors looking for overtime in the first half on B2, first half on B3, and the last half on B3. Call 961. Supervisors, first on 2, first on 3, and the last on 3. That's 3
there's a lot of media out here. Channel 5 got a lot of coverage. I think I've seen for 25 as well.
I was going to show and then I forgot all about it and then we realized it at 9 o'clock, you know. I was driving somewhere and there was a freaking show. I texted Dan, I said, I'll just come back to these guys. So then he texted me back.
What's going on? How you doing? What you been up to? Just hanging in there? I see. Keep up the good work, my man. All right.
I'm out, Robert. I'm outside bringing the door down to the kind of spot.
What's going on? How you doing? Good to see you. I'm sorry. How you doing? What's going on? That's right around the corner, right?
Yes, it is. It's
Yeah.
We're having a community meeting about housing.
Yeah, I talked to Rachel yesterday.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
She told me about it.
Yeah.
Cool.
You gonna make it over there?
I'm gonna try, yeah. 'Cause it's at 1 o'clock, right?
The speaker's at 1 o'clock.
Uh-huh.
And on Wednesday on Blue Hill Avenue, there's a community meeting where we're gonna have a real dialogue. People gonna talk about what they've been facing.
Uh-huh.
And that one's at 7 o'clock on Wednesday.
7 p.m.
7 p.m. on Wednesday.
All right, I'll try to definitely make the Wednesday one for sure.
All right.
All right, good seeing you, my man.
Charlie, Paul, we'll go back to 10.
Just want to show you guys what we have. Excuse me, that's right behind you.
Been over there for a little bit. Yeah.
You going portable too, huh?
Well, so I gotta get her getting out of the car, then I'm gonna come back.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. It makes sense, right? I might as well do the same thing.
Was this guy supposed to be in the pediatric ER or on a pediatric floor?
Alright. How y'all doing? Everybody alright? Is everybody fired up and ready to go? Are you fired up? I can't hear you. Are you fired up? Can I get a woo-woo? Can I get a woo-woo? Alright. Here we go, y'all. It's coming. Our mayor is getting real close, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see from the cameras, they're on our way. Our Mayor Janie's on her way. You know what I'm saying? It's about to go down right here in big time Roxbury, baby.
What up with that?
Yeah.
I think that's the battery.
Lady, how you doing? Alright. Ladies and gentlemen, I think she's getting close. Hey, when the man comes, hey, everybody, when the man comes, you all want to make sure y'all greet her with a big hoorah, alright?
That's right.
I can hear you, alright?
That's right.
Let's give it up, let's give it up. Woo! Let's give it up, woo. Can I get a woo? Can I get a woo? Can I get a woo? Alright. Remember when the man comes, when the man comes,
Light screen.
give it a big round of applause for the outstanding job that she has done. And for those of you who are not from Roxbury, welcome to Roxbury. Welcome to my neighborhood. Yeah, Charlotte, go to Richie Boy down there. Hey, Charlotte, I love you. Alright. Josiah! Oh! Alejandro there! Where's he at? Where's my buddy at? Alejandro! Alright, my people today, listen, I'm trying to tell y'all, the band is getting back together, ladies and gentlemen. The Boston Machine. Together, we can.
It says one word. It says one word. Politicians from the hood.
Man, we get out just as much as they get out, man.
Tango Echo 21.
They tell us that there's no mask mandate in Massachusetts. All right, guys, here we go.
Can I have an I number when you get a moment?
Sure, it's between 212-069-033.
All right, be careful, ladies and gentlemen. Camera guys, be careful for the mayor's van. Let the mayor's van get in. Let our mayor's van get in. All right, ladies and gentlemen, our mayor arrives. When she gets out the vehicle, let's give her a big round of applause, y'all. Come on now, let's give a big Roxbury love for our mayor, Kim Janie. Come on, y'all. Act like you know. Soon as she gets out, please, let's give her a big round of applause, a big holler, a big everything. Let's give her a big everything for the outstanding job that she has done.
Hey, Michelle, how are you?
Oh, wait a minute. Can you hear me? Woo-woo. Can I get a woo-woo? All right. Here we go. Let's give Mayor Janie a big round of applause. Mayor Janie, come on, let's go. Let's give it up. Mayor Janie's about to come around the corner and give y'all a big love sign. There's Mayor Janie. Yeah. Okay, here she comes. She's on the way. They're almost here. Here it is. Tight team. Yes. All right. Now we're going to give her a minute. As soon as she gets in, let's give her a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for the outstanding job that she is doing.
Got it right. Beautiful job.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mayor Janie, give it up! Yes! All right, big. Hey, y'all can do better now. Give it up for Mayor Janie! Yes. And wait a minute. Can I get a woo-woo? All right. We're going to talk about the veterans and everything.
You're going to talk about the veterans today?
Yes.
Talk about the veterans today.
Let's give a big round of applause.
How you doing? Good to see you. All right.
Let's give it some love. Show Mayor Janie some love, y'all. Here goes. Let's give a big round of applause for Michelle. Woo! Can I get a woo-woo? All right. It's going down live right here in Big Roxbury. This is the heart of the matter, the heart of the city. Everybody loves Roxbury.
It's a Tony, right?
Yeah.
Hey, good to see you, man.
How you been?
All right. Good to see you. Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is my honor to introduce, hand over the microphone to, with love and joy and such, just tremendous butterflies and feeling in my heart today, the Mayor of Boston, Kim Janie.
Thank you so much. I want to thank everyone who is out today here in the heart of Roxbury. This is the community that made me who I am. Yes, indeed. Let's give it up for Roxbury. For 6 generations, my family has called Roxbury home. And through these years, we have seen the best of our city and also the worst of our city. I myself have faced many challenges growing up in Boston, from structural racism to food and housing insecurity to our failing schools and faltering transportation system and fear for our families and our neighbors' safety, issues that we are still dealing with today. It is the experience of a little girl bused during desegregation at 11 years old, who became a single mom at 16, but who fought and persevered to ensure that my daughter could thrive. It is why I became an advocate for children and families in the city of Boston, spending 3 decades of my life and career working for nonprofits around education advocacy to make children's lives better. It is why I ran for the Boston City Council, became the first woman to represent District 7. Yes, indeed. Give it up for District 7! It is why I was so proud to be the president of the most diverse city council in Boston's history. We can give it up for that. And all of these experiences inform how I lead our city as the first woman mayor and the first black mayor. Give it up! And that is through a lens of equity, justice, and love for every single resident in every single neighborhood. It is why we invested millions of dollars to get shots into arms and now we have more than 70% of Boston residents with at least 1 shot. And Boston is one of the most vaccinated big cities in the country because of the work that we did. It is why we centered workers in our economic recovery, making sure that it is in fact equitable. It is why we got our kids and our teachers safely back into the classrooms with the highest first day attendance on record. Give it up, girl! It is why we worked so hard to keep people in their homes during the pandemic through rental relief, through an eviction moratorium, and focused on breaking the cycle of generational poverty and creating generational wealth by quadrupling the level of down payment assistance for eligible first-time home buyers. Yes, indeed. Yes. And it is why we are reimagining policing in Boston, bringing increased transparency and accountability, and creating a pilot to change how we respond to crisis in our city, particularly around mental health issues.
Yes, give it up, come on, y'all.
It is why we focused on transportation equity, and we just saw the 28 bus, the free 28 bus just go around the corner when I pulled up here. We know that the challenges facing Boston today demand strong leadership. Over the past 6 months, I've worked with residents across our city to address these issues. Fighting the COVID-19 pandemic, keeping people in their homes, getting our children back into school safely, and we have so much more work to do. We have so much more work to do. And it is why I am endorsing Michelle
Y'all can do better than that. Come on, give it up.
It is why, I'm gonna do it again, Tony. Tony, I'm gonna do it again for you. It is why I am endorsing Michelle Wu for mayor.
Can I get a woo-woo? Can I get a woo-woo? Can I get a woo-woo? Yes, y'all, let's give Kim Janie a round of applause out there. Yeah, come on, give her a bigger one, a better one than that. Give her a big one, let's go.
Important policies like our housing agenda, equitable vaccine distribution, how we handle mental health crises are all on the lines in this election. Moreover, black and brown residents who are most impacted by systemic inequities need a leader in City Hall who will center equity, justice, and inclusion in all of her policies and ensure that we have a seat at the table when important decisions are being made. I have worked closely with Michelle Wu on the City Council, and I believe she is the candidate with the record and the values to not only protect the progress that we have made, but to build upon that progress to create a city that is what? more equitable, more just, and more resilient.
Give it up, y'all, give it up!
I am living proof of how great Boston is, where a girl from Roxbury can grow up to be the first woman and the first black mayor of our city.
Come on, give it up!
And I believe that Boston can be a place where everyone's dreams can be realized. Furthermore, I believe Michelle Wu is the candidate to make that happen. That is why I am so proud to endorse Michelle Wu for mayor.
Let's give a big round of applause to our mayor, Kim Janie. Give it up! Give it up! Give it up strong, y'all. Give it up one more time for Mayor Janie.
Thank you so much. Without further ado, I want to bring to the stage Michelle Wu.
Can I get a woo-woo? Can I get a woo-woo? Can I get a woo-woo? All right, all right, all right.
Thank you so much, Tony. And thank you everyone for being here. I could not be more humbled and honored and inspired to keep standing alongside my sister in service, Mayor Kim Janie.
Give it up, give it up.
We are all standing in the heart of Boston, in a neighborhood and a community whose history has shaped the history of this country.
Yes.
A neighborhood and a community whose activism continues to show the impact of what people coming together, standing up, fighting for justice can do, and the legacy that lasts for generations after that. But what I love most about Boston's neighborhoods is that our history is living history. We are in living our history and continue to be able to stand alongside and work alongside those who are breaking down barriers and not letting up day after day.
That's right.
Come on, y'all, give it up.
Mayor Kim Janie, the first black mayor of Boston,
Give
the
it up,
first
y'all.
woman mayor of Boston, in her tenure already has reshaped this city for generations to come.
Charlie 113.
Her legacy will be the foundation that we continue to build on together as we ensure that every family, every young person, every resident of Boston has what we need to thrive. I came to Boston.
Come on, y'all can do better than that.
I came to Boston never expecting that politics or government could be in the cards for the oldest kid to immigrant parents. As I found my way to exploring the neighborhoods of our city, Chinatown, Roxbury, downtown, Mission Hill, Jamaica Place, everywhere we look in our city, the footsteps that have blazed the trail ahead of us remind us of what's possible when we all dig in together and push for what we truly deserve. And I know, having worked alongside Mayor Janie for a long time now, just how much the leadership that she has shown truly reflects the spirit and the activism of all of our residents.
Give it up, y'all, give it up.
Not too long ago, Mayor Janie and I were sharing a campaign office on the other side of the square, breaking the mold of what two candidates running for office at the same time could be doing, ensuring that we were strengthening sisterhood and community and calling people in instead of walling people out. We have worked together on the council in the capacity as colleagues when we took on the big fights that people said would be impossible to get done, partnering on fighting for affordable housing and ensuring that big corporations would not displace residents in our city, supporting her leadership as she convened a 400-person strong hearing right in Nubian Square about the impacts of gentrification and how foundational housing stability was for all of our communities. I've watched as she has changed the conversation and delivered results on equity when it comes to cannabis and ensuring that economic empowerment reaches every single one of our communities, centering Black and brown residents and entrepreneurs, ensuring that we are taking up the promise of equity, justice, and community in this city. We've worked together to make sure that our schools see every single child in our families, that our climate will focus on how we close gaps for Black and brown families who are bearing the burden of environmental injustices, on top of health disparities, on top of transportation access. And we have seen just what is possible right at the city level when you decide to dig in. 3 years ago, we started talking about fare-free bus transportation. 2 years ago, the two of us got on the 28 bus in Mattapan Square to show how important this one route could be, how life-changing the impact would be. And just a month ago, Mayor Janie announced that it is now fare-free, accessible.
Give it up, y'all! Give it up to 28
These are the steps that we will build on to blaze that next trail for all of our young people, for our families, for our residents, to continue living this history, which proves what is possible when our communities come together and when Boston leads. Now is the moment for all of us to be at that table. Now is the moment to continue fighting for what we know is possible in our city and what we know will truly create that equity, opportunity, and joy for generations to come. Thank you so much for your time.
Anything's possible! Yes, yes, yes! Can I get a woo-woo? Can I get a woo-woo? Can I get a woo-woo? Who do you want? 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 Can I get a woo-woo? Let's give a big up to Mayor Janie! Come on now, if you better than that, Mayor Janie, give it up!
And I just want to, okay,
All
I
right.
want to take questions from our friends in the media here, but just before moving to that, we want to really give a shout out to this incredible gathering of community leaders who is here with us today. If you look around, I could go person by person and name the multiple hats each person has worn in fighting for neighborhood associations, for progress in our city, for civil rights and equity and economic empowerment and building affordable housing and ensuring that our communities are connected. So I just want to thank everyone who has joined us here today and for all the work that you've done for so long in our city.
Good. Give it up for yourself, y'all. Give yourself a big round of applause. Come on now, give it up. Y'all can do better than that for y'all.
I would like Mayor Janie to be a partner right alongside me. She's going to continue to play a leadership role no matter what happens next in the city, and so I'm confident that we've already had conversations about the ways in which our agendas are very much intertwined and the vision for Boston's future that is in clear alignment, so we will continue to work together. Sorry,
You know, I have had the pleasure of working with a number of amazing women on the Boston City Council and throughout our city, many of whom are here without the title of elected office. And I am grateful to all of the contributions that everyone has made to the city of Boston. I've had discussions with a number of candidates who have been running for mayor around my support. What it came down to for me, there is an urgency here. We have done important work. We cannot turn back. We know from everything that we have gone through.
Hold on, man. Hold on.
We know, given all of what COVID has exposed and exacerbated, every single issue, all of those things were a challenge and a problem before COVID. And for Black and brown people in this city, they bear the brunt of the burden. For me, it is about making sure that we are lifting up those who have been historically left are centering racial equity in this race and moving forward. That is what I've been proud to do my entire career, long before elected office, in advocacy for families in Boston in the nonprofit world, certainly on the Boston City Council, and the last 6 months as mayor, and what I'll continue to do as mayor, and what I will continue to push for and work with the next mayor of Boston to ensure that we are lifting up those who have been left behind. And so it is so important to me that we are centering Black and brown people, whether it be our housing agenda, whether it be climate justice, as we've already talked about, every single measure. They are most impacted disproportionately. And so we need to make sure, as we talk about every single resident across the city, that we really mean every single resident across the city.
Yeah, that's real.
"38 days left until November 2nd, but 29 days left until early voting starts in this final election. So we're actually moving a little faster even. Every day that goes by, we see the disparities in Boston deepening. We feel the urgency from residents as we're knocking on doors about how we can continue to keep a roof over our head, how we can get back to work and ensure that our families are safe, whether our schools are truly opening up potential for each one of our kids. I am living so many of the stakes of these policies in my family as a BPS mom in a multi-generational household. Mayor Janie has lived and spoken to the incredible stakes in each of our lives as well. We know that what's going to matter at the end of the day is turnout. People remembering to come out to vote because we know what is at stake in this election. We know there's a clear choice. We know there is an urgency to make sure that we are moving forward as quickly and as equitably as we can.
Veterans need to be heard because we vote.
Veterans will be at the table.
Nobody speaks about the veterans. The present mayor has uncles and family that are veterans. We want the veterans to be taken care of because we serve this country. And we need to be served here, now. We have nothing in this community. I just want to make sure, future mayor, that you understand that veterans vote, but we must be respected. That's all I'm asking.
Please give it up for Mr. Burnell and his strong advocacy for veterans. It is consistent, persistent, nonstop, and he is right. I come from a military family. It is important that we lift up all of those who are often not heard. So I thank you for raising that, and I am confident that Michelle Wu will not forget veterans moving forward.
Mayor Janie, we've heard a lot of disappointment from those who hoped that there would be a Black candidate in the runoff. What do you say to those people who are feeling disappointed and maybe aren't sure that they want to present?
You know, I know that there's a lot of disappointment. This has been a long time coming. It took 200 years to get the first woman mayor, to get the first Black mayor. Many folks here have been part of that advocacy, part of that organizing for years. And so there is disappointment. We can't ignore that. We have, though, an opportunity. We cannot squander the next opportunity to make sure the voices of Black and brown people are at the center of the discussion, at the center of the policies that will move our city forward. So we're talking about a housing agenda. We're talking about our schools and opportunity gaps that fall along racial lines. And we're talking about health disparities in our city. We know that Black and brown people bear the brunt of those. And so for me, it is very important that we don't sit out this election, that we make sure that we are putting those issues front and center, and that we are holding ourselves accountable to achieving those goals. That is why I am proud to support Michelle Wu and to work with her and to work, all of us working together to make sure we achieve that.
We are going to fight to make it so. We have been building our organizing and grassroots from the ground ups for over a year now. In this election cycle, we continue to expand our team and we continue to grow our coalition all across the city. We will be knocking on every door. We will be making phone calls, getting out on the airwaves to ensure that people know that this election is about the future of Boston and that every single person has to be heard. Turnout of Boston's Black communities is critical to the future of this city. Of course, we are talking about building the coalition to be able to have an electoral victory on November 2nd. But when we ask for votes, we are actually asking to hear the vision of our residents and community, to build the momentum to then deliver change in office and hit the ground running. Woo. I am seeking the support of each one of my colleagues. I'm so grateful and humbled to have been part of this historic mayoral field. Each leader in this field has already contributed so much to our city and will continue to have conversations, and of course would be very grateful should that come to pass.
Michelle, what do you think the next mayor of Boston is you most specifically to help the residents of Boston?
Roxbury's success, health, stability, prosperity is the foundation for the city's success. And when we think about the issues that we're hearing, knocking on doors in the neighborhood and attending meetings and out and about visiting and listening to small business owners, we need to ensure that we are closing racial disparities in our city, centering Black and brown residents, entrepreneurs, families. Mayor Janie has already led the way in ensuring that we are doubling down on down payment assistance to boost home ownership and close that biggest part of our racial wealth gap in Boston. We have worked together and partnered to ensure that the City of Boston is accountable for where we spend our dollars through public contracting, getting from abysmal numbers to now having a plan and a dedicated point of contact and staffing within City Hall to make sure that we are investing our taxpayer dollars in city contracting with Black and brown owned businesses that will multiply and build wealth in our communities. We are working on educational equity and making sure that each one of our schools, each one of our students has the resources they need to thrive and succeed, and I look forward to continuing to build on Mayor Janie's advocacy and leadership there. And we need to be ready for the jobs of the future here. That from the sidewalks and the trash pickup, the daily constituent services, all the way up to how we are planning for our climate future and the jobs and economy that we will see in the next 5, 10, 50 years. Roxbury and Boston's Black and brown communities will be at the center of that, because we know when Roxbury succeeds, all of Boston succeeds.
All right.
So yes, the Black vote is very important to this election, and it's, as Michelle has just said, it is important to the future of Boston. That is why we cannot sit this out. We cannot sit back and try to go back to all of the inequities that impact Black and brown people in our city. It is so important that people turn out, that they get involved. I've said all along throughout my own campaign, this goes beyond election cycles. This is about service to our city and the future of Boston. And so it's incumbent upon all of us to do that work to make sure we are in fact creating a Boston that's more equitable, just, and resilient.
Mayor Janie, I'd like to follow up on health.
You know, I think there's an urgency here. There is an urgency. There is too much work that remains, particularly when we're talking about equity. We have to make sure we are still in the midst of a pandemic. We are still dealing with all of the challenges of the housing crisis that existed before the pandemic, of opportunity gaps in our schools, of health disparities that disproportionately impact Black and brown people. So this is not the time to sit things out, as I've just said. This is the time to roll up our sleeves and do that work together.
Mayor Janie,
Yes,
I'd like
time
to
change.
follow up on Allison's question. Did Councilor Asami George ask for your endorsement?
So I have been in conversations with both candidates, and again, I respect and appreciate the work that both bring to the table. This was a historic field of candidates. I'm very proud of that fact. I'm proud of what I've been able to do as mayor. I made a choice based on what I thought was important in terms of building upon the work that we've done and making sure that we are dealing with the racial inequities, the systemic inequities plagued our city for far too long. And for me, that was about a values statement and a vision for Boston that would center folks who for too long have been left out. And that is why I am standing here with Michelle. Yes, of course. Every candidate asks for endorsements, of course. Like,
This is the last question.
Mayor Janie and I share the same approach that we need to center the residents and patients who are seeking treatment and who are living in the overlapping crises of mental illness, substance use, and homelessness. We need both a public health approach and a housing approach fundamentally, and this needs to be a regional conversation, so we are aligned on that. Woo. Thank you, everyone.
All right, let's give a big round of applause for Mayor Janie. Come on, let's give a big round of applause for Mayor Janie. Big Roxbury, let's give a big Roxbury welcome to Michelle Wu. Can I get a woo? Our state rep Linda Riz is here. Oh my goodness. Yes, this is her district. This is her district. Yes, we got Jose Marco right there. We got Paul back there. Oh man, we got some good people in the room. Yes.
I don't have to get this. I just want to get my phone before I just got it. I got it. Okay. Anything else?
Knock you down, please.
Can I get a true shot with the two of you right here? Mayor, can I get a true shot with the two of you right here?
We got pictures. We got pictures moving. Come together with both sides. Council lady. Oh, we got big Will Dickinson here, y'all. Will Dickinson going up there. We got Will Dickinson throwing his support behind Michelle Wu. Come on, big Will.
Over here, everyone. Over here, this way.
Come on, y'all. I got all my sisters with me.
I got mine as well. Just waiting for the bathroom to get the
What's going on, my man? How you doing? All right.
passionate of work, because it's not only Roxbury, but to the city of Roxbury. Thank you so much.
I'm wondering if we get a show in Spanish. Did you eat?
Let me know. I would love to call you. Is there anything else that's important that I didn't ask? 8251. I take text. Thank you so much for your time. Oh, Saraya, will you give me an email and a phone number in case I have followers? Thank you so much. Yes, totally understand. Thank you. Thank you. Saying to myself, how many more years do I have to wait for me and my friends to be able to buy homes in the city that we love, in the neighborhoods we love? I'm born and raised in Roxbury. Blue Hill Ave and VFW Parkway are totally different. How much longer are we going to wait for us to have a city that's equitable, not only in sight, but in opportunity? So for me, it was a no-brainer, and I'm just happy to support Michelle Wu and support Mayor Janie. She's done a phenomenal job in the whole 6-7 months. I don't think people are giving her enough credit for how she's already transformed the city. So this was about a decision about transformative leadership, not one issue, not one person and one job. I want someone who will help transform the city so that at 42 and 43 and 45, I can finally stop feeling like a foreigner in my own city. You know? And it's not fair. People come to me every day, Bostonians who are black, brown, black immigrant, Asian, Latino, saying, we love this city. Why don't we have the same opportunities as everybody else? So we can't wait. No, I stayed out of the race. So I stayed out of the municipal race. I focused a lot on the city council race.
I can't remember who she was with. Yeah,
so Michelle was my first mayoral endorsement.
Okay, and was this tough for you?
It wasn't. I was sharing that. I feel that this is the leader that I want. This is the vision that I want. I want bold leadership. I want my city to transform. And I don't want it to take 5 years or 10 years or 15 years. I want my city to transform now. So everyone that's born and raised in the city and the transplants that remain here feel like this city's theirs. You know, so this was an easy choice for me. I endorsed that a few days ago, and I'm just happy to see Mayor Janie.
Michelle did not do very well with black voters in the preliminary race. Why is that?
Because black people wanted to see a black person. And so I don't think it was anything against Michelle's values, because if you look at Michelle's values, her, Councilor Janie, and then Mayor Janie, and then Councilor Campbell, all had a very progressive agenda. So I think people in this community wanted to see a Roxbury girl. You know, they wanted to see a Mattapan girl. They wanted to see someone that reflected them and looked like them. But now I'm making a plea out to my community, to Cape Verdeans, to Haitians, to those from the Caribbean, also African Americans, Latin, AAPI, and whites. We have to move this city forward. Do not sit out this election. Vote by mail, vote early, show up on November 2nd. I'd love to see more than 20% or 30% turnout. We can't wait.
If someone said to me, if Campbell and Janie,
you know, I don't think we can ever call things, right? Because politics, if I've learned anything in 34 months, is it's unpredictable. But the thing we have to focus on is the people. It's not about the endorsements, right? Because, you know, in working for the city council races I worked on, people have a lot of apathy. They're hurting. They just went through a global health pandemic, housing pandemic, economic crisis where 30% of jobs don't even exist anymore. So people need to feel hope again. So I don't think it's going to be who endorses who. It's about who does a civic stewardship in this city to get people out to vote. And that's important. Thank you, guys.
great to see you.
Hi, friend. How are you? I'm good. Yeah, good to see you on these terms.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I think it's
Swooped in at the last minute.
Yeah, no, I can't wait
I'll do that. She has to go through 12 months today. She's going to see her tomorrow. The whole family.
There hasn't been any good. I think
Roxbury, Alice moving NBC 10 Boston.
looking.
2. Yes. Let's give a big shout out to our man, Kim Janie! Come on, y'all can do better than this. Let's give a big shout out to Kim Janie! Give it up, yes! Rock belly down! Rock belly down! Yes! Be careful, guys! We love you, Kim! Yes!
Part of the final election, which candidate speaks to them. I think the endorsement from Mayor Janie really helps Councilor Wu appeal to those voters.
Do you think she'll be one to actually get out there and work this?
There's no question that she does. I think they've worked together on a black and brown agenda when they were city councilors. They share the same values. It makes a lot of sense. I think voters in the city will see that.
Bye. I love
One, two, three. Awesome.
Hey, Lennon. You still going? You still going?
I've already committed to somebody.
Oh, you did? Yeah.
Alright guys, we're gonna wrap this one up. Just want to show you the events taking place. Alright guys, until next time, Nez Porter. Catch you on the next one.